Welcome to video number 4 in this letter series, where I'm sharing reframes around blood sugar that support a return to balance. This is one that really excites me because we begin to see the body as a whole system now. Each part has its own role, its own capacity, and its own limits. Each relies on partnership with other systems, including you. If blood sugar is the signal we see or we notice, and insulin is the hormone working overtime behind the scenes, then the liver is often the overlooked organ in this imbalance, even though it's one of the first systems to absorb the strain. When basic rhythms are lost, we often focus on stress hormones as being the main issue. And yes, stress hormones are involved, but insulin is also working constantly, responding not only to incoming glucose, but to stress signals that push even more glucose into the bloodstream. Glucose that the liver is then responsible for directing. Here's something important that I don't think is shared often enough, and it's that it's not only individual cells that become insulin resistant, the liver does too. Most people have been taught to think of the liver primarily in terms of detox, neutralizing toxins from food, alcohol, or the environment. But detoxification is just one expression of a much larger mission. The liver is the body's central regulator of fuel, hormones, and chemical balance. Its job is to keep the blood stable so the body can function and survive. This means the liver is always adjusting how much glucose is being released into the blood, how it responds to insulin, the hormone that tells it when to store fuel or stop releasing glucose, the movement of fats, how the liver stores, releases, and sends fat into the bloodstream for energy, and the breakdown and clearance of hormones and metabolic byproducts. Detoxification happens within this process, not separate from it. It supports the deeper goal of maintaining stable blood chemistry and reliable fuel availability. When the liver becomes overloaded, insulin levels rise, insulin signaling to the liver becomes fuzzy, blood sugar swings throughout the day, and fat begins to accumulate in liver tissue. This is why liver disease often shows up alongside high blood glucose. One of the biggest shifts in my own understanding of health has been this: eat first to live, then live to eat. But today, food's nourishing role has been, in my opinion, a little distorted. It's been handed the spotlight role for happiness, comfort, and fulfillment. When food truly nourishes, it builds tissue, stabilizes blood sugar, calms stress responses, creates steady, usable energy after eating. Outside this role, certain foods overstimulate and repeatedly trigger insulin and dopamine, create urgency. I want more, I need more now, and leave the body hungry, wired, or depleted shortly after. Modern food is engineered to stimulate. Modern marketing trains us to snack, to sip, and crave. Crave TV, anyone? And modern life adds something just as powerful as sugar: stress and hustle culture. The liver releases glucose not only in response to carbohydrates and sugars, but in response to perceived demand: physical, mental, emotional, financial, relational, environmental stressors. Think about a real life example. You skip breakfast, maybe you slept in, and you rush out the door. You're driving in traffic, running late, answering emails, trying to organize your day. The body interprets this as a stressor, as a threat. It says, well, we didn't receive nourishment, and we need to stay alive in the midst of all this chaos. And it is chaos. So stress hormones signal the liver to release glucose. And so insulin, what does it have to do? It rises too. Now, layer in our compensatory responses: snacking, increased caffeine, highly refined, low fiber meals on the go, late nights to catch up on work or downtime. And the liver never gets a true break. It doesn't get to reset fuel handling and fully carry out detoxification at prime time, which is bedtime. When food stimulates more than it nourishes, excess glucose keeps arriving, insulin keeps signaling storage, fat accumulates in the liver, and eventually storage capacity is reached. At this point, the liver can no longer properly receive insulin's message. So, as a protective measure, it continues releasing glucose into the bloodstream. Remember, safety over efficiency. The liver is now doing double duty, trying to manage energy provision in a system that never truly received nourishment or rhythm rest. Because the liver has shifted priorities, detoxification slows, because fuel management and blood stability must come first. So, can you see how this changes the blood sugar story? When the blood sugar regulation system is under constant load, so that's the pancreas sending out the pancreas sending out insulin, the liver, and other energy regulating hormones involved, many insulin sensitive cells protect themselves by limiting glucose uptake. And I think like practically all of our body cells respond to insulin in some way. What we call insulin resistance is not simply a problem of sugar intake. It's the body's metabolic system adapting to sustained pressure when rhythm and recovery have been lost. At the same time, the liver may continue releasing glucose because it no longer senses insulin accurately, or because stress signals tell it fuel is needed. This combination of protective responses keeps the bloodstream stable, but it also drives the high fasting and post-meal blood sugar levels that we often see. The system compensates, but can function optimally when rhythm and rest is restored. Restore rhythm, and you give the body the conditions it needs to heal from the roots.